There is a beautiful place on this planet where the White Nile coming from the mountains in Uganda and the Blue Nile coming from Ethiopia converge. Specifically in Khartoum, the capital of northern Sudan. As a little boy, during family visits to Khartoum, we spent most of our time at my maternal grandfather's home. My maternal grandfather being Jiddu. In his home, Jiddu had a beautiful garden with a lime tree. One morning, as him and I were playing chess in the shade of the lime tree, he paused, he looked at me intently, and he said, "Look at it. The lime tree. It's getting old. It's dying, just like me. I'm getting old, and one day I will die too. And so I need you to understand something really important." Then he picked up a fallen lime from the grass, pinched it, squeezed it, plucked out a seed, and said, "My dear grandchild, Ya Ibni, look, here, hold it. This is a lime seed. It gives you a lime tree. It cannot give you a mango tree or an apple tree. A lime seed only gives you a lime tree. Now, obviously, you have to put it in the right type of soil, give it some water, and make sure it has lots of sunshine. As you grow older and mature, you need to ask yourself this really important question. What is my seed? What is my seed? As the years went by, this inquiry that I inherited from my grandfather was very much lodged into the back of my mind, lodged so deep that I kind of forgot about it, and it became this sort of thing that was just there in the background. And it persisted and persisted. What seed do I carry within me, and which soil will I grow best in to make my most fruitful contribution? Admittedly, this is an inquiry that's easier asked than answered. Being a little boy, I tuned in within, literally. I tuned in within. That was a key thing that my grandfather also said. Sure, ask yourself, what's my seed? But more importantly, as you ask yourself that, don't get caught up in society's distraction or in manipulation. Tune in within, listen in within, and day by day, as you grow older, you will know, looking back, that you too have fulfilled your own purpose. So I kept tuning within and tuning within. First, with the aid of an imaginary guitar, by using my badminton racket. Then, with the aid of actual guitars that my parents and my brother gifted me. There was just one little problem. My brother was somewhat aware and could somewhat see the emerging opportunities of the creative digital economy thanks to the internet. My parents, being born at a time pre-internet, didn't see through those eyes. And so my father, at the time a professor of folklore and oral traditions, and my mother, a neighborhood therapist of sorts, both insisted that I set aside music as a hobby and pursue a more serious career. I put down my guitars, I uninstalled my music softwares, and I packed up my songs. Over the following years, boy, oh boy, did it get serious. I traveled to dozens of countries advocating for human rights and democracy. My work was published, reviewed, or featured in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the Atlantic, CBC, BBC, and on in 13 different languages. And even though I did that, and even though I shared the stage with Nobel Prize laureates, former presidents and prime ministers, which I shook my head at, I'm like, how on earth did I end up here? What is this? I'll go up to them, I'd greet them by saying, hey, what's up? How you doing, man? Meanwhile, everybody else, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister. Fun times. By that I mean serious times. I tried to lighten things up, but it was very serious. Even though I did all of that, even though I spoke in Washington, D.C., in think tanks and advised human rights organizations, all along, secretly, what I really wanted to do was sing. I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to pick up my guitars again and sing. Now, by the time this had become clear, something else also became clear. As I became wiser recently, very recently, it occurred to me that I'm now far more invested in an outlet that allows for a wider range of human emotions to be expressed. And don't get me wrong, rage and anger are better than helplessness and powerlessness. And often, sometimes they mask those two feelings. But stewing in rage and anger and indignation and frustration, as I had done, building credibility by researching and talking about what's wrong with the world and how to fix it, I needed something different. And so, my journey to music began, slowly, bit by bit. And here I am now, a man at last learning to be fluent, much more fluent and in touch with my feelings. The game changer was when I landed in Canada. Give it up, give it up. Under very extraordinary circumstances, specifically on January 29th, 2014, in Vancouver International Airport, for the first time ever, not having been here before, despite all my travels, first time, I land, and as I walk up to passport control, after what felt like forever, thanks to the long snaking line, my plea for help said it all. Officer, I'm actually not here for tourism or business. I'm here because I'm under the threat of persecution, imprisonment, and torture, and to seek protection and political asylum. Here's a copy of my band memoir, and here's a copy of my USB thumb drive. It contains all the documentation you need, including my lawyer's contact information. What seed do I carry within me, And which soil can I best grow in to make my most fruitful contribution? In the years since being here and then settling in Toronto, I've come to notice and observe that exile is first and foremost a state of mind. You can be physically together, but emotionally apart, whether in couples or families or in the workplace. And then as time went by, I realized it's up to me to decide that I am home and that I will create my own homecoming. The deeper question became, how do you find the freedom to be free? And here's what I've come to. I believe that you need three things in a positive feedback loop. First, we need to affirm human rights. Two, we've got to realize human potential. And three, we've got to express human creativity. And here's the deal. Even when those are available, you still need to do your part. Know thyself, all of thyself, light and shadow, so you can be the truest and highest expression of yourself. And to do that, you need the freedom to be free. More importantly, after that, you need to have the courage to be free as thyself. That is the only way it works. And on the positive feedback loop goes, so that we can safeguard our freedoms for ourselves and for future generations. Expressing human creativity requires something essential, and that is music. We need music, more music, better music, harmonious music. All the way to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 music chart while dancing our butts off, because why not? And that brings me to today. Hashtag We the North, where I am at last well-rooted, and where, thanks to a shift in thinking, I'm no longer seeing through a lens of what's wrong with the world, and the lime tree metaphor finally makes sense. Because for that to work best, it's about tuning in within and seeing through a lens of what's right with yourself, and consequently, what's right with the world. And I hereby take my own advice and turn the music on. So many years before, I've had to stand alone, alone with the alone, in unsung songs, with so much pent up inside, so much pent up. Asking myself, will I be here to sing my pain away? Sing my pain, sing my pain away. My unsung life has so much to say. So much to say. So come walk home with me. Don't wait in vain. Tell me what's right with yourself. Don't wait in vain. Don't wait in vain. Don't wait. Don't wait in vain. Tell me what's right with yourself. Tell me what's right with yourself. Tell me what's right. Tell me what's right with yourself. And what's right with your